On the Spot. Happy new month from the After Drive team. Welcome to the award-winning show On the Spot, where we take time to chat with your favorites from actors, politicians, business people, musicians, you name them. Tonight I am hosting one of the most sought-after Zimbabwean female musicians who has been in the music industry for decades now. She has traveled around the world through her talent, that is singing, of course. A lot has happened in her life, but she has sailed through, you know. So she has given us hits such as Mukoko, Soto, Bachura, Tikichema, Achilles. I love this one because I never reads, you know, just to mention a few. So she will be sharing with us how it all started and, you know, the highs and the lows till today. Help me welcome the Queen, Mount Award-winning musician, actress, brand ambassador, barefoot goddess of Amasha, mother who she's got so many titles to her name, you know. It is none other than daughter of the iconic Zimbabwean musician Ammara Brown. She's here. Ooh, Ammara, welcome to the show. What a long title, by the way.
I know, I felt I was like, woo-cha, you go through a mouthful over there.
Exactly. Like we could titirira maredio emabattery. Sarikwa nemagets. Title yo ego pedza battery munhu yacho.
I love it. It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
So we're live right now on Facebook, guys. In case you're not going to Ammara Brown, she's here. I know, Ammara, do you know that you are a lot of people's crush?
I am aware.
Huh?
I am aware. Yeah. I remember there was a point in time where every day there was a proposal online. I was like, how guys? What's happening?
You know, don't show even sometimes. Do you know at one point who's this? Pumako did a song for you.
Pumako.
Boss Pumako.
I love Pumako. That's my guy. I swear. By that point in time, there was almost 10 songs that were called Ammara Brown.
Ammara Brown.
But that song, when I heard it, I was like, this person wrote this song, Sha. Like, I felt it. You get what I'm saying? I was like, Sha, I need to meet this person. I need to work with him.
So did you meet?
Absolutely did get to meet with him. We recorded a song together.
Oh,
we did a song together. Yeah, absolutely. I'll plug you in just now. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
It was a good time.
That's great.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much for making time for us, you know, in your busy schedule.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Exactly. So how have you been, Ammara?
I've been fantastic. Like, I can't complain. I really felt like a couple of years ago, going through COVID was so important. It was transformative.
Yeah.
It was the first time I actually could rest. And it was like, I remember putting my head down one night to sleep and I was like, oh my goodness, this is what rest feels like.
Oh.
Wow.
You were just
and like,
busy.
Because the anxiety as well, even when you sleep, you've got so much to do that the workload, like your anxiety is keeping you up at night sometimes. Do you get what I mean? And that's where I discovered rest. And so I remember I had bought these really bougie pots. They were like nice and expensive. And like, I had just come from shooting Amazing Voices.
Yeah.
And we had to fly in, you know, and go into quarantine. The day I landed in Joburg was the day COVID landed in Joburg also. So I had to quickly come home after we finished shooting. Then I'm hearing people are just dying. Wow. So these extra pots, these bougie pots that I'm thinking I'll save for later, I could just die. And then, no, I decided to live my life from that point onwards. I was like, no, I'm not waiting for anybody. And I started making decisions based off of what makes me truly happy in life. And I honestly feel that I've been blessed in this regard because God responded in the most beautiful way and has just like held me up and dearly and supportively in the most really like mind-blowing ways.
So it's been a while. Where have you been?
Ooh. I've been in Joburg quite a bit. I just came from Rwanda as well. That was such a great time. I was there for a Women Deliver conference. I went with the UN Women's Ambassador, Fatu. She invited me to come through. You know, you guys, I do work in the GBV space. I'm an activist for women. And so I've had a lot to do with the EU space and PSH and Swedish Embassy and, you know, UN Women. And it's just been such a blessing to do the work that is beyond what is commercially expected of you. You know, I think at some point everybody asks themselves, like, what legacy have I left behind? Like, the music is one part. Do you get what I mean? But like, have I been instrumental in seeing the change in the world that I want to see? And that for me was just like, this is what brings me joy. I love changing people's lives. I love connecting with women.
Are you into activism for money or just, out of passion?
Both.
Both.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Very well. Make no mistakes about it. Because I'm also a mother. I have a 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
I can't be operating here just, hey, this gig, that gig. We've got no time for that. You get? If there's no 4 figures at least.
Yeah.
I'm not showing up. Like, you can't.
4 figures.
No, 4 figures. At least. At the basis. At the beginning. No. We don't do anything
Those are
outside
big numbers,
of that.
by the way.
Yeah, man. Like,
So,
this makes sense.
are you now based in Zimbabwe? Because I've seen you've been, traveling a lot. In and out. Are you now based in Zim?
I'm not.
You're not?
No. I had to leave. I had to be with my child. I had to be with my son. I had to choose peace. I had to look at my life and just understand, like, what are the things that I value the most. And for me, like, I spent so many years in my 20s sacrificing. I would be at a show with you guys. I would be at an interview with you guys.
Yes,
I would be
yes,
performing.
yes.
I would be, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my son was at home. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And there were Wednesday nights where I wasn't home because mommy's at work. Do you get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you may not know this about me, but I'm the mother who's waking up at 5:30 in the morning.
What?
I'm getting my son ready for school. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. I'm that mom. And I remember at that point in time, I wanted to be able to read him a bedtime story. Like, those are small things that are huge things. Do you get what I'm saying? That people take for granted.
Yeah.
And I think with me bearing so many people along the way, I realized, like, life is short.
Yeah,
You're not
very short.
guaranteed.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
indeed,
you have no guarantee. And this moment here doesn't happen twice. And I realized my son was about to turn into this young man.
Yeah.
So it was like the last few years of his adolescence. I was like, if I don't catch this, if I don't, do you get what I'm saying?
He'll
Like,
never do that
you know what I
again.
mean? Like, he
Yeah.
was with his dad, and that was wonderful. Like, I can appreciate that his dad was present,
Yeah.
and is a good dad, but I'm a mom and nobody can do it the way mama can. And, my son and I just really missed each other through COVID, and we needed to reconnect and be a family and build on that, because when I'm not okay in my personal life, I can't show up for the rest of you. It doesn't even make sense.
And at one point, Ammara, I thought you were done with the music thing since you were not releasing, until I listened to the Mbava track recently, that you worked on with Juntao.
Yeah.
What was happening?
Oh my goodness. This was the most organic, beautiful collaboration
Yes,
I
indeed.
think I've ever experienced. And wild also at the same time. So you and I were at the Namas in February.
Yes.
Now, I remember I'd never even heard of Juntel. Please believe. I found, sorry, Amasha, like, I know you're here, but I found a video from, like, my birthday 2 years ago of Juntel's music playing in the background. I didn't even know who he was.
Okay.
And I see him on stage at the Namas, and I'm like, oh,
This guy.
my God.
Yeah.
I think I've met a performer who
Yes,
can perform
yes.
with me. I was like, this guy here, I was determined. I was just like, I'm going to find him. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
His people found me. It wasn't even like in no time.
It was that
I think he was
easy.
really shy at first to, like, speak to me and all that kind of thing. And his brother,
Yeah.
I feel like his brother was low-key trying to hit on me. But anyway, it's okay. And then he was just like, hey, you should do something with my brother. And I was just like, was that your brother? I'm like, listen, tell him I am there. And we just need to, So a couple of months back, I came home. I decided I was going to spend, like, 6 weeks, in Zimbabwe, and, like, really go in and out of studio. Like, if I could bang out a song a week, I would be really happy. So for a duration of a month, that's really what I did.
Yeah.
And I sacrificed the last week of my own album. I was like, listen, Juntel, if we don't get me into studio now, you're gonna miss the window. So let's do the things that make the things. And I think it's incredible sometimes. The devil pushes back in the weirdest way.
I love his energy, though.
I love
His energy levels. I love the song that he did recently, Waste Management. Waste Management.
No, he loves to dance. And I tell you something.
Yeah.
So me and him, like, our first session, we really were just, like, vibing each other's music, and I was playing him what I'm working through in the studio, and he's just like, yo, you make music like this? Like, I was just like, yeah. Juntal was so down to earth and so humble, but also his versatility is yet to be discovered by this country. I feel like right now he's the Roomba king, and y'all,
I concur on that.
like, you get that, like, he really is. Like, ain't nobody trying to argue. Don't try. But
Don't try.
Yeah, no, don't try. The fact of the facts, it's not a statement. Eh?
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to the blossoming of his creativity because he's really something special.
Yeah, very
he
true.
He really is.
So for interest's sake, Ammara, how long is an artist supposed to stay without releasing music?
As long as they want.
As long as they want.
It depends who you are.
But your fans sometimes, you know...
It depends who you are. You know, once upon a time, and I remember witnessing Sade. I was like watching this concert of hers, and it was a while since she had released something. Prior to that, I realized she releases like every 7 years.
Yeah.
And I just found that I didn't understand it at the time, right? But after a certain amount of years of like grind in this country, I was like, why am I so pressed? In accordance to who? Am I the boss of my life, or are other people going to dictate what I'm going to do? Because the difference with art, and this is the challenge that most Zimbabwean musicians face, they are exhausted. They are creatively exhausted.
Yeah.
They're mentally and emotionally exhausted.
Exhausted as well, yeah.
So they keep regurgitating a lot of sounds for you guys because they're just like, we just need to release in time for summer.
Yeah.
And so the music doesn't develop the way it's supposed to develop. You understand?
Okay.
And for me, my dad didn't have 60 albums.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah.
Tuko music was absolutely beautiful. 60 albums, wonderful.
Wonderful, yeah.
Different beast. My dad had 10 albums. Why? And for me, it's just much more like I prefer that when I'm coming to you with music, I really feel like singing right now. And I really feel, because I write my music. Do you get? There's not background writers somewhere where
you do your own
people
stuff.
are just, do you get what I'm saying? Like I'm in it and I'm speaking about things that I'm really experiencing.
Yeah.
I don't want to get writers for you guys and just make music and just keep singing like I'm a jukebox. Like that's empty. That's not real.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit more real than that, Shah. Ish.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a bit more real. Somebody in there just now, before I came to the interview, was just like, yo, when are we getting more music? And I was just like, listen, I can sample you something right now that's unreleased. And I played it for him. I was just like, but I don't know if Zimbabwe is ready for that. Because it's risque, what I'm talking about. It's a really...
You mean it's new sound?
It's a new sound. It's very edgy. It's very international. I'm just like...
But if they can listen to Adele,
they have double standards. Okay, so Adele is not edgy.
Yeah.
She can be depressing, but she's not edgy. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
When I say edgy, I'm talking about like Janelle Monáe and Cardi B.
Oh,
do you get what I mean? Like,
I get
I'm
it.
talking about edgy, and I'm just like, sharp, because some of the things that because English is my language.
We say in Debele emkolweni. Like at emkolweni.
Emkolweni.
Yeah, at the edge, like you're doing extreme stuff.
Sure, but it's how I feel. It's now like not feeling boxed in by what people are expecting.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yes.
And I needed to be rid of that. And now I'm just like, whoop, somebody stop me. Because it's about to be peak. So I might just, from a strategic perspective, just want to release music videos as opposed to just letting people sit on the sound and over analyze and say, we're Zimbabweans, we don't sing these kind of things. We don't talk about sex. I'm just like, guys, why are you like?
Exactly.
No, let's not.
We talk about it every day.
Do you get what I'm saying? Let's not be like,
that's all I talk about.
Gosh, nyash everywhere. I'm just like, yo, guys. So when a woman does it, it's not okay. Do you get what I mean? I'm just like, no, guys. Let's meet the standards as they are. But I'm gonna deliver it to you in a way that a certain portion of you will absolutely freaking love it, and from an international perspective, is going to work. Others, amen.
I'm going to keep it here. Okay, let's dive straight into it. Growing up, you were surrounded by people who were so passionate about music, from your dad, aunts, uncles. Hence, you were somehow influenced in music because of your surroundings. Am I right?
Sure. Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay. Let me hear the no.
The no, from the time I was in the womb, I was already boom, 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 boom.
Oh.
Those are my mother's stories. Like you'd hear music and you were excitable from the jump. So in that regard, that's a no. But in a yes, absolutely, because you need the people around you to nurture. Do you get what I'm saying? To nurture your passion. And I was so lucky in this regard. Like I was so blessed because my mother was married to my father when he was still half a nobody. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Ilanga days, Grab. Do you get what I'm saying? Like we're going back. The Storm 1 and 2, and do you get what I mean? Like that was a time before a time, and he wasn't a big deal at that point. But she was with him and loved him through that. Got married, had myself as well, and my sister Shala. So she was able to see that journey and understand what it takes in order to break through. So when I was 12, we were in the States at the time, and I had just gotten my first solo, and I was like, I was so excited to go home. Yeah, my first solo at 12, like I was in choir.
Yeah.
And in the States, choir is actually a class. Like you're graded on that. It's a part of your...
Nice.
Yeah. So beautiful over there in this regard. I love how they respect the arts because they understand how it changes the tides of the world.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But you, Ammara, deep down, is that what you've always wanted to...
Absolutely. That's the story I was about to tell you. Like I literally ran home and I said, Mom, I got my first solo and I was so excited. And she was just like, that's great. And I was just like, no, but that's not everything. I want to do this. She's just like, you want to do this? I was just like, for the rest of my life. I knew because I felt so free. I remember singing with my eyes closed and I felt, thank goodness nobody warned me what the music industry was like. Thank goodness nobody warned me. But the passion was real and my discipline thereof really, I was so lucky. My mother was Soraya because she was we used to call her Cardinal, and her mother was the Iron Lady. So you understand?
Yes.
You understand? Things must be done. Progress must happen. We must build things. We must buy houses.
I like that, you know. So your first test of fame was when you appeared on TV commercial alongside the late Dr. Mtugudzi.
Yeah.
What was it about?
I was jumping out of a bin, playing a little fake guitar.
Oh, a fake guitar?
Yeah, a little olivine tin. I was 9 years old. It was crazy. I remember I had to go through auditions and all this kind of hoorah, and met Uncle Tuku on set, and he was just so wonderful and warm, and it was like, you know, as a little girl, it's so exciting because you're getting to be like up late till 2 o'clock in the morning and like work. You know, it was my first paycheck. It was $2,000. I was like, yay me!
At 9?
Yeah, 9 years old. And my grandmother was just like, we're going to put it in a bank and we'll save this money. I don't know where that money went, but I mean, but it doesn't matter because they took care of me, Shai. Like, you know, what does a 9-year-old really, you know, the cognizance of that. But the work ethic was instilled in me at a very young age. So but also the fame was a double-edged sword because I remember just being in school and like there would be girls who just had a problem and like, oh, she thinks she's special because she's Andy Brown's daughter, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, we're all just playing here. Like, what's happening? We're just so okay. Maybe I snuck in my coloring book, but it's only because I wanted to color with my friends. And, like, nothing to do with anything else, but just like, you know, and understanding. People look at you a little bit differently.
True.
So yeah, but it's okay. It's
okay. So I remember an interview you did way back. You mentioned that at the age of 4, you made your appearance on stage. Were you even aware that you know kuti ndozvanga zvichiitika at that moment?
I remember pacing back and forth, putting on lipstick, and just like trying to remember my lines. I had to sing. I was playing Mary, Mother of Jesus.
Oh, Mary.
And I was pacing the same way you see me like backstage now. Like pacing back was the same way I was pacing back and forth then. And I obviously at that time I didn't imagine that it was going to be my profession. I was just very passionate and I just knew that I loved to do it. And I was busy taking Joseph where like I was leading Joseph on stage, which is still happening in life today.
So it was like an act.
It was an act. It was a theater, a play, but you had to sing, you know, and perform in that way. I was very lucky. I went to a creche in Cranbourne, and Auntie V, I still remember Auntie V, she was just the most lovely. We'd always have singing time, and music is such an integral part of how a child develops, not just if you're a creative, but how you receive information and how you process information. I was so blessed to be surrounded by people who always knew how important that was. And
you were 8 years old when your father gifted you a mbira instrument. And had you maybe constantly mentioned or highlighted that you needed that instrument?
I was nagging Chioniso. Like, I met Chioniso when I was roughly maybe 7 years old-ish. And yeah, I couldn't have been much younger than that. But I do recall this instrument just, I really do believe that instruments call you. Like, it's not one of those things
or
where
they call you.
Yeah, no, they call you. Because there's things that I don't want to do. Like, I don't want to play guitar.
You don't want.
I'm not the one. Like, I tried it one day. My dad gave me 3 chords. I was just like, he left for a meeting. We were in Joburg, actually. He left for a meeting, came back an hour later. I was like, Dad, no.
I can't do this.
No, I was like, no. It's just not my jam. But a piano, yes.
You can.
I naturally was drawn to a piano. And I was naturally drawn to the mbira. And my dad said to Chi, like, you better start teaching her because she's not going to quit.
Do you still have that instrument?
No, unfortunately. One of my siblings borrowed it and it never came back.
It never came back.
Yeah.
And it never came back.
Yeah. Cut a long story
short. You tried to claim it back?
No, of course I asked for it back, but yeah, I didn't get it back.
And Ammara, when your parents separated, you moved to the US with your mother. Many times when people in love go apart, go part ways, I mean, and they have children, when one involved. In most cases, it is the children that then suffers, and grow up with traumas, and all. Did their divorce affect you in any way?
I thank God they divorced.
You thank God they divorced?
I thank God they divorced. Their marriage was not healthy. Their marriage was not healthy. I didn't see, or rather I saw too much. I saw things that I shouldn't have seen. I had convinced myself that I had dreamt certain things because I think as a child I just couldn't really process that some of these things were happening. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And later in life, my mother actually left me here in Zimbabwe. She left me and my sister Shala with my grandmother. And so I was about 4 by that period of time. And they had been married maybe 3, 4, 5 years or something like that. Yeah. And but I didn't know. I just remember like having my grandmother around all the time. And once in a while I'd see my dad, maybe, closer to the time he was dating a woman named Maria. I remember but she was that woman. She was just like, it's your birthday, and Maria and Chioniso were with my dad at the same time. So it just became this like very like complicated, like, I love you.
Entanglement.
Entanglements just all over the place. You see a lot of things, but they were so lovely, and I appreciate that my mom was one of those people who she got past her own traumas and she elevated in order to make things simpler for the dynamic of relationship with my dad and the women thereafter and the kids that were made thereafter. I remember the first child I fell in love with was my little brother Alex. Loved him. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And but not really recognizing at the time that my upbringing was not normal. Only later you now start to say, oh, parent-teacher conferences, like my parents are not here. Like, and my father would be like, what are they?
Hey, what are they?
Tell me about you. And you're just like, fair point. He's just like, you're my child, So he had that kind of take on him. But look, in many a regard, I did learn that it is very important for people to be happy in their relationships. And so when I was offered marriage by Camille, I was like, no.
You said no?
I said no.
Why?
Because I knew that I wouldn't be happy. I could feel it. Like, so we went to my maid's wedding, okay? Oh, I had the prettiest maid. She looked like a doll.
Wow.
And she just had the most beautiful eyes. And she was so pretty. And she was marrying this man who was like, high up in the church or whatever. And so there we are. And I'm pregnant at this point, okay? I'm a few weeks pregnant. I'm like 7, 8 weeks pregnant. Baby daddy is sitting next to me, and this man is preaching about the man being the head of the house and the woman must follow. And I'm just like,
I can't do this. I can't do this.
And there Camille is like, do you see what I'm talking about? Like,
yes,
and I'm just like, yeah. I was like, hi, not me. Not me. And I had to check out because I knew I wanted my own career. I wanted to, he came from a family of like a certain amount of wealth, and he was just like, oh, my dad's going to buy us a house. I was like, I don't want your dad to buy us a house. I want to buy my own house.
Yeah.
Do you get? So I was different. in the sense of how I wanted to live my life, and I knew that. I think he's wonderful in his own right, and he found his woman. Like, he's married now, and they have a beautiful little boy named Emil. Yes, my son is Camille, and they named their baby Emil.
Oh, I like that.
And Emil was born this year, just after Valentine's. Beautiful little baby. Oh, and they were both dedicated. We had them dedicated at Rema Church, a couple of weeks ago, and it was beautiful. So it's just, when people stay in marriages just off of the expectations of others and what they think is the right thing, I don't think that that's healthy. I believe that when I wake up to someone, I want to be happy to wake up to you. Like, no matter what we're going through, life can life, but I must know, Kuti,
I'm happy.
Do you get? I'm happy to do it with you.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't it. So my mother, as much as she loved my dad, I also knew she was under pressure because she fell pregnant, and they were like, "Hey, what's happening here? We're not about," she was the baby, and she was in it. It was a different time.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm very blessed to be born in the time that I was born and be able to live my life on the standards that I consider to be successful.
Let's say this. You later moved back to Zim.
Yes.
Had you stayed in the US, do you think you'd have been this big artist you are in Zim right now?
No. No. And I'll tell you why. In the States, and at least in my personal opinion now, I hear a lot of people sounding the same.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for them. Like, legit. I actually feel bad for them, because I'm just like, there's a lot of good singers. Let me put it to you this way. There's a lot of good singers. But to be a good songwriter is something entirely different. To
totally
have a
different.
stage presence is something, it's a different beast altogether. Being in this country, as difficult as it has been, it molded me into the artist that I became. So even just working behind my dad, whether I made $20, whether I made $5, it didn't matter. But the experience that I gained throughout that time, you can't buy that anywhere.
Yeah.
The influence of music that I've had just being in Zimbabwe. Now when I go out into the world and I'm holding my mbira, they're like, "Oh my God, what is that? That's so amazing." I'm distinctive. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even now I hear Zimbabwean artists struggling with that. They're sounding like a lot of already famous artists. And I feel so bad, because I'm just like, if I call you and I tell you, "Honey, you need to shift a bit. You need to stop listening to whoever you..." Because even me, I had to stop listening to Beyonce. Or else I was never going to find myself.
Oh, okay.
Because all the ribs, we were singing it. And I was just like, if I keep singing this, I'm not going to hear myself, because there are things that only I, as an artist, can deliver into this world. And this is how you've gotten to know me now. I had to go through all of that.
And you're big. You're our own Beyonce.
I'm your own Ammara.
Ammara, by the way.
Don't you forget it.
Yeah.
Don't you forget it.
So
I'm your own
did you
Ammara.
manage to finish your O levels after you had taken a break for some reasons?
Oh my goodness, I did not. I remember those were really tough years. We moved back from the States when I was 14, and I worked behind my dad consistently from that period of time. However, my mother and my stepfather and their side of the family had bought trucks, and that business crashed within a year. The workers were stealing parts, doing extra runs, and what. The business crashed, and my mother had to leave and start all over again. She said, "I'm going to the UK this time. I'm so sorry, you guys. You're going to have to go to your grandmother." And so it was a hustle. I remember going to my dad and being like, "Please, can I have money for like toiletries?" And he's just like, "Yeah, but this is the last money I'm giving you. If you want money, come to work." And that's how I started working. And I've never stopped working since. So now
So
it's been 20 years.
It was a good lesson, though.
Absolutely. Because I'd make money, I'd bring it into the home. I would be taking care of my sister, my sibling, whoever I needed to help out with whatever needed to happen. That's what I was doing. Unfortunately, when it came time to writing my O levels, nobody could afford it at the time. I think it was like 50 US at that point in time. Nobody could afford me to write my Cambridge exams. And I was on tour with my dad in South Africa. We went to do a couple of shows. SABC was doing their own something in Newtown. I can't remember the name of the festival. And we had come from Venda, just, lifing the way tour life was. And they were just like, "Why don't you stay here? And you can go to college from here. You can finish high school from here, and da-da-da." And I didn't even finish high school. My mother had no job. She was cooking sadza. I swear to God, like my mother went from like being a realtor. She was a fantastic real estate agent to cleaning toilets in the States.
Oh, really?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you don't have papers,
Eesh.
things are real, ne?
Yeah.
It's very humbling. But I watched my mom build a home time and time again. And so that kind of resilience, for me at least, in a certain regard, yes, I didn't have all the luxuries and blah, 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 blah. We would even shop at the thrift store. Understand, thrift store is like my bero. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, no, understand. Like, it's like it's peak season. But that dynamic created a humility in me because I knew I had to earn everything I got. So that's why rich men in Zimbabwe just couldn't understand, like, why can't I get Ammara? Like, if I buy her, and I'm just like, you can't buy me, Ja. I'm too expensive.
Yo.
You can't.
So, because
I'm a worker. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't understand somebody just giving you money just, what are you doing? What is this?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Rather, like, let's be in love. Then it's a different story.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Love does not marry.
No. Like money. Okay, let me be honest. I love to spend money on the people that I love. It's an act of service.
Oh yeah.
You get what I mean?
Act of service.
It's an act of service. Like
Noted.
honor. This is the work that I've done. This is the fruits that I've brought.
Yeah.
Let me spoil you. Let me take it.
Exactly.
And let's do that for each other. What I don't understand is just saying, no, he must just give you money.
What for? So okay.
Is he an ATM? Kanaguti? I'm not understanding. He's a human being. We're all human beings. And that's why certain men are now treating women like they're just a piece of anything. You're property.
Exactly.
Because you get.
So let's talk about music. Your music. Which song would you say paved way for you in the entertainment industry, besides being noticed as your father's backing vocalist?
Which song?
Which song? Yeah.
Paved the way. There was no one song that paved the way. There were numerous songs. And I can readily remember. I remember 2011, 2012, I had something on radio. It didn't pop off. 2013, I worked with Ja. And I remember Ja saying, because I was just like, I was trying to work on Ammara Brown forever and da-da-da-da-da. And my manager said, hey, I think Ja would do your dad's music. Just I was like, who's Ja? And she's like, you know that guy with the beret, with the red beret on the posters? I was like, oh,
Ja Fraser.
Yeah, it's like $3 to get in there by Jazz Time. Do you remember that? Jazz 105 to get.
Exactly.
And I was just like, oh. And she's just like, let me call him. He said, yes, Tsungi, and we went down to the show. My God. We danced, Shem. And my enjoyment. I said, yes, we are here to make music. And I knew we'd make something beautiful. Lo and behold, we're both Mbira players. So it was just very organic. So Kure Kure was the start of that.
Oh.
And then, because now we shot the music video, and he called me, he's like, please, can I put my music video, our music video on the DVD that he was releasing?
Yeah.
And I was like, Ja, because I hadn't even seen the edit. It wasn't ready. Right now, I can't watch the Kure Kure video.
Why
it
not?
Makes me climb up the wall.
Why not?
Because the edit was just not, like, I'm a perfectionist. You guys don't understand. My perfectionism has gotten in the way of my progress many
was it rushed?
It was rushed because now he was just like, we're releasing in 2 days. I'm like, he's like, please, Ammara. I was like, okay, fine. And it was beautiful because it wasn't about the perfection of the music video. The song was beautiful and the people then loved it.
I love this song, yeah.
So that happened, and then I went into studio with XQ. At the time, it was, I can actually just remember stages and stages and stages. We did Bachura, I think it was 2014, 2015, 2015. Anyway, 2016, 2015, I worked on Mukoko. I was now just meeting like Ozkid and stuff, and Ozkid was like, we need to work together, da-da-da. So it was like this organic, like, who do I blend well with?
Yeah.
What does this sound like? Da-da-da-da-da. And Mukoko happened, and it flopped. It went onto radio, and nothing happened.
Mukoko flopped.
So it flopped, and I was like, what is this? I was like, what just happened? Because I'm feeling the tune, right?
Exactly,
I'm really feeling. I'm like, no, guys,
it's not been played.
I don't understand. So I was in Joburg. I'd gone to go and record some more music, and this friend of mine was working at a record label. Vinny, we can even find Vinny, and we'll call him, and he will attest. And I said, listen to the song. So he was working for Motherland. Motherland had DJ Cleo, Vusi Nova, still has him. You know, it's that camp. And he's just like, we have like Twitter bots that we use to like promote stuff. because the boss had come down, and the boss liked me, and he was just like, yeah, this is a good song, eh? It just needs like a house groove, and I was like,
what is he saying?
What
is
he saying about? I'm just like, no, you didn't get it. Anyway, so Vinny's just like, let's start tweeting. So we started tweeting. Not we, he. He started tweeting with different accounts. Zimbabweans, why do you guys need the world to tell you that we are special? Ask yourselves that, because at that moment, no, I must tell you how it happened. That's how we made a hit. All of a sudden, people started responding. This is such a nice song. Zimbabweans now, because those are all South African accounts.
Oh yeah.
This is such a nice song. Hey, and so now I'm retweeting everybody. I'm like, look at this.
So that was a good strategy, by the way.
It was a good strategy. Yeah. So the Zimmer Awards called. I performed that. I said, Titan. I said, they've got no budget as usual. Can you please show up, John Cole?
And tell you what, Ammara. Hey. What a coincidence. Tonight I'm hosting you, and tomorrow, guess what?
Who?
I'm hosting Titan, of course.
Okay. Oh, it's going around.
Yes.
Okay.
He's sitting right there.
What a hot seat it could be.
Okay, speaking of you being your father's backing vocalist, Ammara, how was it like working with him, touring around the world?
I didn't tour so much around the world with my dad, but I did tour regionally. And most of my experiences were actually in Zimbabwe. And it taught me a lot. I learned the ugly, dark side of the entertainment industry. I watched my father fall from grace after being involved heavily in politics. I got to see how the police treated him. I got to see so many dynamics of how horrible the industry could be. But his resilience was something out of this world.
Yeah.
He didn't care. He did not care. He was like, I want my money. I'm going to work. And I'm just going to keep moving. And I was really lucky to witness that kind of resilience as well within him, because his creativity, it didn't stop. Like when I heard the Chiwoko album, I was like, damn, this album is amazing. Like it blew my mind. And I knew the nation was not going to be on board. He was still being blacklisted on radio and all this hoorah, which was really sad when I look back on it.
He was blacklisted by then?
Oh, absolutely. His music was banned because Auntie was singing Pachikaro Chamambo and...
You said it.
Yeah, because my dad he was a no BS kind of guy. He really loved this country, and he loved the people of this country, and he wanted the best for us, like regardless of who was sitting in power. The bottom line was like, are we going to take care of our people? Because I remember being in Berengwa when I was like 9 years old, and I remember the river. We couldn't even walk into it. Like we couldn't even jump into it because it was so deep. Now you walk there and it's just sand. It's just sad. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the dynamics of what people have been going through.
But did you feel like maybe your youth days were robbed because you were working then?
Yes and no. Yes, absolutely. I didn't really have much of a childhood. In fact, prior to that already, when I moved to the States, I now had to learn how to cook, how to clean, how to mother. My sibling, like literally, like now there's no maid there. It's just you. So good luck. And sometimes I would be pulled out of school to babysit my niece and my little sister, who were newly born in the States as well. That was important in a certain way because my parents died when I was young. I was 23 and I had just given birth. 6 months, my mom passed away.
Yay.
6 months later, my mom was gone. 2 months after that, my dad was gone. And my mom always used to say, close the curtains. Hey, I'm not always going to be here. And I used to think that's so dramatic. Like, why is she always... But it was the truth.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because nobody knew, that they were going to die that young.
Yeah.
It was crazy. My mom was 46. BP. Just
wow.
Had a fight. She had a fight with my dad, and that was it. She was screaming her head off. And... she was like my head. It just went too far. She had stopped taking her BP medication, etc. So you don't know what life is preparing you for. Sometimes you feel like when you're young, oh, this is so hard, and
but you're being prepared for something.
But you're being prepared for something greater. And God knew, like, this woman's gonna do a lot,
and you are a great woman.
precisely.
Yeah.
I turned into a really beautiful woman that I believe my mother and my father are genuinely proud of.
Yeah.
And they were already. But I know this is the dream that they had.
But
for
how
me.
did
So,
his death affect you?
Oh, that's a heavy question, sir. That's a heavy question. It affected a lot of things. I was not able to comprehend at the time what life would be like without the people who knew me and loved me the most. I was not prepared. Life became really real. I got to see the other side of people and what life is like, but through my depressions, through my hardship, I was always a person who like threw myself into my work like as a almost salvation. Almost salvation. I would perform for like 3 hours at a time, whether it was at a manzi, whether it was at a party, whether it was wherever I could have a stage. I was just grinding. And I used that as sort of a escapism, a tool, a mechanism to deal with the fact, like, because sometimes I would be on stage and it was so painful. Like, no matter which crowd it is, everybody loved my dad.
Yeah.
So you could be performing right now in front of a room full of black people, and tomorrow you can be in a room full of Indian people.
Yes.
And the next day you can be a room full of white people.
Yeah.
And the next day it can be a room full of colored people, and the sentiments are the same. And sometimes just even hearing the music, it's like I could hear him. And it crushed me. Because he wasn't there.
I can imagine.
You know what I mean? Like I had spent so many years, but also some of his battles, some of his demons as an individual. He struggled with alcoholism. I was already trying to figure out how to detach that. Detach myself from that life before he passed away. I was now a new mom. I'm just like, it's 2:00 in the morning, Dad. I can't be here. Like, my breasts are leaking, but you've gone into another club after our show. Do you get what I mean? So very bittersweet in all of these things. And there's so many conversations I wanted to have with him that I hadn't even processed yet. But I never got the opportunity.
I was there at the funeral, in Berengwa. I went there. I went there.
Came?
Yeah, I was there. I remember we were waiting for, his brother. He was coming from the States.
Germany.
Germany, yes. I remember we had some delays. Then we went to the rural areas, to Mberengwa. We buried him there. I remember we were with, who was this? Minister Webster Shamu and Michael, not Michael. Amos Mahendere, a lot of artists, came through. I remember that time, and I saw you.
A lot of that is a blur for me. I was just crying so much.
Exactly.
I was just crying so much. I couldn't even.
It really charged me, by the way.
It was
and are there any privileges, Ammara, that come by given that you are a Brown?
Absolutely. It's a blessing and a curse.
In a curse?
It's a blessing and a curse.
What do you mean a curse?
Oh, that's the part you want to know.
I want to know that part.
So I think with all things in life, Ola, it's there's two sides to the coin.
Yeah.
Okay. You're born a Brown. People assume that they know who you are, what you're coming from, what you're like. They just assume. There are people who love me before they've even met me. And they're just like, I loved your dad so much. And I can appreciate that because they come with that good vibration. There are also people who do not like me.
Yeah.
Because in their minds, they're just like, Chioni saw this and Andy that. And I can't pretend to, like, what must I do with that? You get, like, there's nothing I can do about that. There's also the nature of just how my father's family life was conducted. Guys, nah. It's just too much. You get?
Yeah.
It's just too much. There's just so many dark, horrid experiences with family members that you're just like, how am I supposed to deal with this? Daddy couldn't even deal with this. Yeah. He couldn't even manage this mess. Now
what's your relationship like with the relatives, from your father's side?
Depends which one you mean. It's different. There are those that I'm like love and like we're great and it's all sunshine and roses, and there are others I'm like, no, not you.
Why?
No, drugs, addictions, jealousy, juju, all of it.
Juju.
It's just, I'm just like, hi, bo, guys. Too far.
Yeah.
Too far.
Really?
No. I'm just like, no. I am not one to shun on traditionalism.
Yeah.
I'm not one to shun on religion as a whole. I think that, in fact, as a continent, we need to be more honest about what traditionalism really is and the beauty of it. But I have seen people who are Muslim or Christian use the Quran or the Bible for darkness.
For darkness, oh.
The same way that anybody can use traditionalism for darkness. And for me, if you're going to attack me in the spirit, do you get? And I can actually see what's happening. I think that's another level of darkness. I think that's another level of jealousy. I think that's another level where when somebody betrays you or they hurt you, they're not even sorry.
Oh.
And I feel that for me, I had to let go of this idea of like, we are family and I've got to ride or die because I bend over backwards and I sacrifice for these people. But yay, when all is said and done, the thank you that you get. Woo! Wow.
Ammara, you know what? We're about to get into the news right now. But we are continuing with this interview after the news.
All right.
So, to our viewers, our listeners, just be on standby. Mumba right now, after the news, we continue with this, beautiful interview that I'm having with my sister here, right here, Ammara Brown.
Good all the time.
Okay, we're back. It is 7 minutes past 8. That's our time on Star FM, sounding good all the time. Still on the spot. I'm talking to Ammara Brown. Ammara Brown.
I love how you say that.
Yes,
I'm taking that
Brown.
with me. Yeah, I'm taking
Brown.
that with me. I love it.
Nice
I love
one.
it.
So you were telling us about your, the relationship you have with your relatives and,
There's a difference between relatives and family.
Relatives and family.
Yeah. I went through something really horrific during COVID. Just the worst betrayal and heartbreak I think I've ever experienced in my whole life. And it happened with a family member, you get?
Yeah.
And I had to look, because I think it's one thing to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But I think it's something entirely different when you're not sorry that you hurt someone.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very incredible to read texts of this person saying she deserves it. That is something else. And I had to realize, like, no matter how much I've loved people and sacrificed for people, if they don't love themselves, if they don't respect themselves, actually watch. If you've got drug addicts and what in your, it doesn't matter if you're family.
Yeah.
They're calling this person for $20, you for $100, you for $50, to fund a life that is so dark and so horrific and catastrophic that you have to realize that person doesn't even honor themselves. So how can they even honor me?
Yeah.
Where do I fit in all of that? And so I had to create that boundary in my life. Like, listen, these are the family members because these are people who show up for me. The people that I consider family are actually, quite a number of them at this point are actually not my actual blood relatives.
Oh.
This is facts.
Yeah.
Because I see how you show up. Love is a verb.
Love
is a verb. It's not just me just doing all the time. Wait.
It's a two-way thing.
Do you get?
Yeah.
What are you doing? When
Yeah.
I'm not there, do you respect me? When I'm not there, do you defend me? When I'm not there, do you show up for me still? And you'd be surprised to find that in the name of family, you are just doing so many things for this person, and they will have no thanks for you when all is said and done. So those principles I learned the hard way, and I'm grateful now because now my priorities in my life are very clean. My son, number one. I'm just like, listen, if it's not working, no. If I'm out of the country for too many weeks, my son can't see me, no. That's not going to work for me. I'm not doing that. I work when I want to. I life when I want to. I love when I want to. I just, and if you don't respect me and you don't respect my craft or you don't respect my home and you don't respect my peace, thank you.
Stay there.
Yeah, you can be a relative.
You can be a relative.
Yeah, it's fine. No problem.
You know what? You did a song together with Chengeto. What You Want. We played this song, several times, on radio. It became a hit. What's your relationship like with Chengeto right now?
Non-existent.
Non-existent?
Non-existent.
Wow, that's deep. Tell me more.
I really can't. I'm not at liberty to tell you the details of all of that.
Yeah.
I think I've actually told you quite a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really just, I wish her well in life. I wish her well in life. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that human.
Yeah.
I really did. I wish her well in life.
Wow. Yeah, that's so deep, Ammara.
Yeah. That's my truth.
You seem bitter, though.
Sad. I'm not bitter. I'm sad.
You're sad.
'Cause it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when I think about it.
I see.
It's heartbreaking. She was my... I don't have the words.
No, I understand. And let's move on. How do you define your music, Ammara?
How do I define my music? The epitome of Zimbabwean freedom. The soundtrack to the modern African woman. Bare, stripped naked. I bear everything when I'm on a stage. I bear everything when I write music. Like I said, I write from a genuine place. And I don't ever want to be any other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm at a liberal cross point. I've just gotten the opportunity to write soundtracks. I wanted to write soundtracks for international movies and series.
Oh.
And I finally, in the last year, have been able to do that.
Okay.
I was contacted by a Canadian company and they're just this incredible animation and there's so much I can't tell you yet, but it's so invigorating for me because everybody expects me to be the commercial Ammara, this one thing, and I'm just not. Like, I'm a multifaceted woman, and I've just got no apologies because my sound and the things that I have to give to the world are so much bigger than the bower.
Yeah.
Do you get
Bathing.
like? Yeah, no, the bower is great. Like, don't get me wrong. Do you get? But also, the songs that come naturally to me and epically, oh, y'all gonna see over the next few years. I'm just saying. I'll just leave that there.
So you're taking money, Ammara.
Yes.
You know, you're taking like 4 digits. You said.
At
Four
least.
digits, at least 4
No, at
digits.
least. Make it
Guys.
make sense. Because if my outfit, the other day I was jumping on the plane. I was heading to Durban. I decided I was taking myself to Durban.
Okay.
Me stress. I was like, I'm 35. I'm turning 35. Like, I can't be stressed the way these family members are doing me. I was like, no. I'm going by myself.
Wow.
Like, never mind all of this. Anyway, got to the check-in counter and he says, do you have any valuables in there?
Yeah.
And I said, let me ask you this. If each outfit costs $100, isn't everything in there valuable?
Valuable, yeah.
I'm just saying, it sounds like it's the equivalent of a laptop that you're carrying.
Exactly.
And yet,
not my outfit.
it's not a device, but it's all my clothes. Do you get? So,
Yes.
no, we came to live, Sha.
Yeah.
It's just material things. They
Exactly.
will lose value with time.
Yeah.
But what I'm here to do is live the best possible life that I can.
Yeah.
And give that and share that with my son, but also while teaching him, Kuti, you must also work.
Shanda.
Yeah, you must also work.
Shanda.
Yeah, he's under pressure. He just turned 12. So we've been doing a lot of our own chores and
So you're
things like
grooming
that.
him very
Absolutely.
well. Yeah.
Teaching him to cook, everything.
It was in 2012 or 2016. I'm not too sure. With the year when your career bloomed, while it's your personal life crashed, what was happening at that time?
Take me back now.
Yeah.
Which year was this?
Should be 2012 or 2016. Between those years.
2016. Between 2012 and 2016, people were just dying around me, man. If people were just dying around me, it was terrible. It was terrible. My mom, then my dad, then my grandmother's sister, then my Chioniso passed away.
Yeah.
Then the year after that, my grandmother, the actual grandmother I loved my whole, she then passed. It was like year after year after year. And then Chiedza passed away. And then my sister Shala passed away.
Whoa.
And it was just like, I was up and down. I lost my sister Shala to HIV actually and AIDS.
Oh.
And
sad.
she was 25.
So sad.
It was horrid. I was up and down wheeling her in this wheelchair. So while you guys were seeing Mukoko and all these things happening, I'm up and like I couldn't readily appreciate what was going on with my career, because what I was going through, it was so funny. I was with my aunt yesterday, an aunt from the Maraire side actually, and she said, you know, Ammara, you have succeeded against all odds. Like the world does not know. She's just like, I promise you, I actually remembered having a conversation with my husband and saying to him, that girl doesn't stand a chance, not because of her, but because the circumstances around her life are like quicksand. You get the people. She's like, the family members you deal with, she's just like, it's something out of the ordinary. So when I look back on those years, I remembered how my working space was my saving grace until it became its own super beast. And then I was like, oh God, actually. So I started using I started becoming like a hermit, you know, really battling, because in this country, you don't really have a lot of counseling. You actually feel afraid to turn to a counselor. I was very lucky that the HIV counselor at the Newland Center was Bahati, who is XQ's wife.
XQ's wife.
Yes. It just like by chance. She happened to be my counselor, and Sway, there was just I was just like, it was like word vomit and tears and da 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 da. But I realized at that point, like, I need to find some kind of balance within myself, and it's not going to come from work, it's not going to come from money, it's not going to come from, you know, and it was a hell of a journey. I went through a lot of depression and a lot of difficulties, and I think the grief really hit me during COVID as a whole. But know,
then how did you manage to collect yourself, you know, to be set again and just move on with your life?
Well, that resilience that I was telling you my mother and father had, it just never went away. Like, I have a son. He is my saving grace. For me, I was just like, bottom line, like, my son doesn't understand. When you're raising a child, they don't understand we don't have. They don't know about any of that. And it's not your portion to just say, there's no money for school fees. There's no money for Zesa. That's not my portion. I must tell him, Mom has got to work. Like, he doesn't like when I'm up and down for work. And I had to say to him, like, Camille, you should be grateful. And let me explain why. Because you see all these luxuries that we have. You see, your birthday party cost X amount. This amount. Your iPad is how much? Your earphones are how much? I'm just like, do you see? And giving him pocket money and saying, you have to earn this pocket money. It will deduct from here. Just those dynamics, because realistically, there had to be a place within self, even removed from motherhood, that I had to figure out. I couldn't show up for anybody else unless I fixed myself. And I think in the last 2 years, I really enjoyed like rediscovering myself and rebuilding that, because I can't even say between 16 and 20 that I was really all together. I was just going to a place where I needed to face the tough things, which is where Tichichema came out. Do you get what I mean? Like, like everybody was expecting, hey, Mr. Easy, da da da. I'm just like, no, that's cool, but let me tell you what I'm really feeling and what I'm going through, because I was struggling emotionally and mentally. And what does it matter? What does the world matter if you can't face yourself? If you can't face those hard conversations and be like, why does this hurt me? Why do I find myself in this particular cycle over and over again? What dysfunction is this? What toxicity is this? What narcissism is this? What does that even mean? What does financial abuse mean? What is emotion? Like, I had so much to work through. And the last 2 years, just leaving Zimbabwe. I was just like,
so are you okay now?
I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. I've never been so happy in all my life. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so happy I'm here. I'm just like, if this is my 30s, like, I can't believe, like, guys, what are has anybody reached 40? Because I just feel like
only Mike.
If 30s are this good, guys, let's not lie. Like, life doesn't become easier, but you become better at lifing. You feel me? So anything that comes your way, you're just like, actually, no, that's not my portion. Next. Yes, I'll take that job. No, I don't want that money. No, I don't want that man. Yes, I'll take that gift. No, that's darkness. No, I'm not even good. I'm not going to give this energy. Like, you get the things that make the things tick.
Only positive vibes. Positive
It's so
vibes
nice.
only.
And
yeah.
you're not afraid.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't operate from a place of fear no more.
Oh,
I operate from a place of joy. If I'm not happy to do it, no thanks.
amazing. And Mukoko was a massive song.
It was.
Still is.
Yes.
You know, and I'm sure many got to love you even more through that song.
Yeah.
Mukoko.
Yeah.
You've made so many, hits from Bachura Soto, Loyal, Mabokadze. The list is endless, Ammara. How did you meet with Nigerian star Mr. Easy when you collaborated on Soto?
Ironically enough, Mr. Easy reached out to me.
Oh, really?
So I'm telling you. So like 2 years prior to that, he reached out to me on Twitter. He had 11,000 followers. I had 14,000 followers. I was like, who this little man? I'm like, who this? And then I went to go, like for real, like, because he wasn't the Mr. Easy that everybody grew to love.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, I'd love to work with you, Ammara, da da da. And I was like, okay, let me go take a listen. I listened to his stuff and I was like, oh, snap. He's not the best musician. That's what he said to me. He said, Ammara, you're a serious artist. Me, I'm a play artist. But he's not the best vocalist in the world, but he is a good songwriter. And so from that perspective, I was just like, you know what, my guy, I think you would be really dope to work with. It was an incredibly strenuous period of time. The initial just the studio session, how it happened, it was a lot of stress.
How long did it take you to come up with that song?
Oh, couple of hours. Like, it wasn't I had a co-writer, Fluid, actually, a guy named Fluid from Zimbabwe. I brought him in. I'd also brought Tamuka into Joburg as well. And this other Mozambican producer. And just going back and forth, listening to different things and seeing what we felt was something that we could vibe with. And so I couldn't readily say, like, this is the song we're doing and you must do this. I was just like, yo, these are the options. This is what I'm feeling. Like, how do you feel about that? And, it happened very organically. The shooting of the music, I think a lot of the headaches were logistic nightmares, just like behind the scenes nightmares. Zimbabwe was going through just hell. Like, I remember being on set and I was hearing like people are being gunned down in Zimbabwe. So now like I couldn't I feel a lot. I'm an empath. I feel so much. And so when things are not going okay in an emotional way, it's a struggle to like recenter and focus on. I just remember that being really tough time and wanting to start my SADC tour here and start in Harare. Like I was like, Amasha Ignite must ignite in Harare. And then they were like, we've got to cancel all events because there's a cholera outbreak. I was like,
what?
Naimi. Like, can you imagine? So Malawi, Zambia, all these other places got to experience the tour before, like Zimbabwe. And by the time I got here, it was like November. I was just burnt out. It was a very miserable time for me. I was just completely, But I needed to go through that in order to realize that it was so important. Like I said, like you just keep thinking, let me just do. I need to just do. And then I realized, no, man. No, when you're not operating from a joyful, you'll be stressed. Because a lot of your artists are actually more stressed than you. They're stressed, Shem. Yo, they're stressed. Yo. And then you say, oh, well, why is this person on this? And why is that person like that? And hey, they are sleeping with 1,000 people. Hey, everything is not okay, guys. Everything is not okay. And artists are human beings too. We need to be treated with like a little bit of compassion.
And also respect.
Yeah, a little bit. It would be nice. Like, do you know what I mean?
I know.
It would be nice. That's probably why I love to travel so much, is when you go to a different place, if a man looks at you, it's just because you're beautiful. Don't know who you are. It's just like, you are beautiful. And when you have a nice, pleasant exchange with somebody, it's just a beautiful conversation. It's because like two human beings are just like, you're sitting there now an hour later with a stranger you never knew. And you and her are having the most beautiful, organic, human experience. Yeah. And I think that balance has worked for me. Yeah. In the last few years, I'm just like, yes, I go to work, I play a little bit. I go to work, I mother all the time. Do you get what I'm saying? But like, I know when it's time to like check out for myself and be like, no, it's my turn.
Yeah, powerful. And what does it take for you to make collabs?
This is such a... I'm sorry. Like, I'm just thinking of some of the people that I don't want to work with because...
Okay.
Look, like I said, there's a number of things. for me to work with Pumako, for instance, he didn't have the biggest following. You know, from a commercial standpoint, somebody be like, I don't understand, like, where's the meeting ground with that? But his vibe as a person, his vibe as a person was just on point.
Yeah.
So respectful, so cool. Just be cool, man.
Yeah.
His artistry, his craft. I remember him getting into studio and Pumako was like, did I do that right? And I was just like, okay, can you take the note here? Can you hear where I'm singing, And then he'll do it. And then I'm just like, right, wipe.
You got it.
You get. And he's just like, okay. And he would do it. And so the working environment, for me at least, that organic fabric that I've had with Ja, that I've had with XQ, that I even had with Titan at one point in time, is so beautiful because it translates into the music.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a position now because I realize sometimes just collaborating because this person is a big artist. It doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean much. Do you get what I'm saying? Unless you make
out
the
of curiosity,
music.
I'm just curious. You said there are some artists maybe you don't want to collaborate with.
Yeah.
Who are those?
No, I can't say that.
I was gonna put you on the spot.
No, we'll just leave that there. Like, look, I'm a musician, you guys. I'm a musician, and one thing I've realized is that if the artist next to me is not powerful within their own right, they will fumble next to me. They will not be able to cope. You get the scoin of the jealousy and the what
exactly.
and who's outshining who.
Now I understand.
Please hold your own. Hold your own,
and
because
your ego and whatnot.
Like Juntal said to me the other day, he was just like, yo, like you really, like, you are a grinder, like you really are trying to take me everywhere. And I'm like, yes, Juntal, you better be a jacaranda, like at the every stage. I'm just like, everywhere where I am, you must be there. You get, because I want to move with people, I want to uplift people. But if you are drama,
if you are drama,
no thanks.
So ever regretted collaborating with anyone?
Yes. I won't say.
I'm sure this one you will say.
No, I won't. But only not from a professional perspective of whatever may have happened in turn, but just the personal experience. It's just like, my guy, you are stressful, man. You are just a stressful person.
You're stressful.
You bring, people's energies are wild, and I think like artists, you find like they have big energy. Do you get what I'm saying? Now we're orbiting in each other's space with, you know what I'm saying, with that.
Yes.
Do you get, so I'm like, do you get like good vibrations?
Exactly.
And then somebody's like, it's like they're carrying the whole world on their shoulders. And then you're taking it out on me because I'm also a woman. Do you get? I'm a woman also, and that dynamic can be quite... It's absurd sometimes when you see like, okay, so if you were dealing with a man, would you have done this? Because now, once you bring up that other side of me, the other side of Ammara Brown, you're not going to like it. Because this one, now you see the face changes, and I'm just like, I'm about my business. Don't come in here with all that mess.
You're not going to like it.
I've worked too hard, Sha.
Yeah, of course.
I've worked 20 years. So you want to come here and give me nonsense? No, not you. Not you.
I like that vibe, Ammara. Because sometimes we listen to certain songs here and say like, okay, what were these guys doing? Were they serious about this? So but you expect me as a presenter here to play your song.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not balancing what they're seeing and what they're doing.
Exactly.
You get.
Exactly. No vibe, no energy. It's just like, okay, we did a song. Please, just play our song. And a lot of artists, I think they miss that, part.
Yeah, because they're trying to do it from a place where it's just like, it's strategic.
Exactly.
I think their audience will whatever. Isha, I saw my father work with so many people. They would come in and out of the studio, like, wah.
Yeah.
And my dad would be like, let me hear that. No, that's not right. Play this, play that. Ammara, go sing this. And so it was like this consistent movement of creativity that was based off of not just talent, you get, not just skill. There was also a certain level of professionalism that you had to have in order to hold your own in that space. I was 15. I had to learn how to delegate band members that were older than me.
Whoa.
So already at that point in time, I was now like tasked with
Yeah.
just being able to navigate that space, but in a more respectful way. Because
of
my
course.
dad would just
Of course.
swear everybody. he didn't care. He didn't care.
Like
But-
Sasa,
yeah, because we'd be like, what are you playing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you playing? Because that. So now when I look at a number of artists, I am happy to spend time with them and say, hey, work on
Yeah.
this thing and
Yeah.
work on that thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will not shun you on the radio
Oh.
in front of
No
everybody
moods
to
or
say,
privately
I'll
say,
tell
no,
you,
no,
like,
just,
Sha,
tweak a bit.
please, like,
So,
work
so,
on
so.
this. I will. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was an artist that says, oh, I wanted to do something with you. And I was just like, okay, honey, that's cool. Why don't you come for, like, vocal lessons?
Yeah. Vocal lessons
Vocal
first.
lessons. Yeah, because I like her vibe. Do you get? I'm just like, but because I know what will happen. You're laughing, but I know what will happen.
Yeah.
Do you get when we're now being put because when you collaborate with somebody, there's a natural comparison of
yeah.
are they both holding their own
Yes,
here?
yes.
And I don't want to put someone through that mess. Like we already deal with a lot.
Yes.
Just having to be on social media, it's a lot. Like
Very
just
true.
even showing up to say hello.
Yeah.
Hey, just to
These
say
days.
hello. Hey, you
Yeah.
are being told you look pregnant. And it's the men, Sha. It's the men. Can I just say, women are so nice. Oh my goodness.
Pregnant.
Oh my goodness, women are so nice. Like, I was literally 10 kgs
Mm.
overweight in the last like year.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, oh my God, the worst comments coming from men. Coming from men.
Men, not
Comment
even women.
section.
Yeah.
Men, even when they see you like
Yeah.
this. And the other day I told someone about themselves, shame. Because I'm the imbalance of not seeing that somebody is a human being.
Yeah.
Guys. So I don't want somebody to be now, because it's your craft, right? If you're saying that you want to do this music thing, you want to give it your all, then let's put in the 10,000 hours. I will stand with
Yeah,
you
yeah.
because I want you to win. There's more than enough room for all of us. You know, sometimes when people say, hey, we miss you, Ammara. And then I'm just like, you've got lots of female singers, man.
Exactly.
You've got so many. I broke down the door and everybody has come rushing through. You've got so many, Sha. I wore my short shorts. Auntie, they didn't want to give me the awards. Because I dressed like a prostitute is what they said.
Okay. So that's why they're not giving you awards?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Mama Awards.
That's not fair.
2017.
Oh,
life,
2017.
my guy. It was like, I couldn't believe my life.
Oh.
Achilles was nominated for Best Female, a Best Female Artist, Outstanding Song as well.
Wow.
So I'm like, this is my, because the song blew up so hard,
Exactly.
like internationally. I was like, I didn't even have connections where it went. It just flew.
Yeah.
And then
You didn't get anything.
I didn't get anything. And I was like,
What
because
up,
everybody,
man?
like, they were like,
Yeah.
and the winner is, and everybody was saying, Amara's gonna get it. Amara's gonna.
Exactly.
Everywhere you're just hearing Ammara. Then they announced the winner, and people were like, confusion. And I was just like, also me, but let me just keep
That's
quiet.
also me.
Let me just keep quiet, right? Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed something. Maybe
Exactly.
somewhere,
Yeah.
even though the song has buts. And okay, let me just step back. And so I'm leaving the venue, and these two people come to me. They were actually a part of the panelists that decide who
yeah.
gets the awards, and they came to apologize to me. I was just like, I'm sorry. They were just like, Ammara, we're so sorry.
Oh,
We're
why?
so sorry. I'm just like, why? They're just like, your award took the longest. We argued for an hour.
Hey.
There was a man in there. Hey, she dresses like a prostitute. Hey, her music video is soft porn. Hey, how can we let her win? If we let her win, what are we telling Zimbabwean women about how to dress and how to be?
You're low.
That is why I didn't get the awards that year. And so for me, I was like,
But at least you
Wow.
were told, the reason why.
I was
at least there is a bit.
the
a
reason
bit of
was
closure.
absurd.
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't closure. It actually angered me more because I was just like,
Oh.
wait a minute.
Aye.
So let me get this right. So the men can have women in thongs and booties and everything just showing. Do you get me? I'm just like, so they can do that, but me in my shorts is
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, nine
Uh-huh.
deuces. And that after that year, I was done with awards. I was done. I was just like,
No, not anymore.
no, unbothered. Because remember, with the Namas, you have to apply. I stopped applying a long time ago, Shan.
Then you just.
And I just, and then it would be my management would then apply if they felt, if
Yeah.
we remembered, to be very honest with you, if we remembered. But I stopped prioritizing that because I had to look at my dad's career and be like, wait a minute, he wasn't awarded his whole life. Literally.
Really?
He never got one award his whole life. So I was just like, and he was the greatest. Like he was. I was like,
with no award.
I was like the greatest.
I can't believe that. Yeah.
I was just like, wow. So if the greatest did not, they wanted him to apply, but there are international award ceremonies from Ghana, from America, who nominate me, from Tanzania, or the Kora
Exactly.
Awards, the the Afrimas. They nominate me. I don't have to apply. I don't have to
They
ask.
just nominate
They,
you.
they can see. They can see.
Yeah, exactly.
And they
They
can
work.
hear.
Good work.
Kuti,
Mm.
Banapaka.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, you can't put too much weight on that. You can appreciate what I appreciate at this point in time. No matter who my peers are, they respect me.
What inspires
That's for
your,
me
your,
is-
your your songwriting, Ammara?
Real life, man. Real life. When I was singing about Achilles, I was really singing about a person that I loved very much and who was using me at the time. It took me 6 years to get out of that mess. When I was writing about Ode to Mama, it was literally about a year after my mom passed away, and I needed to sing something. It was playing in my head. It was actually like the melody were playing in my head. I needed to get it off my chest. So a lot of what you hear is true. Like Mbava, now you've got a new track, Mbava, and not for nothing, like I'm sitting with Jintal and we're like vibing to this because we found the instrumentals. That's like, yeah. And then we're going to get Chibera to and then I'm just like, and we're going back and forth. We're singing different things, da 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 da, and he said Mbava, and I was like, I was like, right, wait. I'm going to run with that because in my last relationship, it felt like my heart was just stolen. Like it was just like, I loved that person so organically. I didn't even know what hit me. It was insane. And so it was beautiful in that way. And I finally got the chance to express it. I'll play you some stuff, just you and me, because the country is not ready for all of that. And you hear the other things, but it's very much what I'm experiencing and how I feel and what I think.
Okay, we're going to hear that. So for the decades that you have been in the music industry, how long, by the way?
25 years.
And has performed on several stages, you know. Do you feel nervous maybe before you hop on the stage? Kalauti Makadochi Master Game I'm feel like anything.
I'll be perfectly...
Is the feeling always the same?
Okay, so yes and no.
Yes and no. I like that.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because it's not always the same thing. And what I've realized is that if there's ever a time that I'm not nervous, it's because it's about to be a bad show.
Oh.
It's about to be a bad show because we do have those. For instance, I remember performing at Glamis and it was just the worst. Like I was molested from the other side of the field to heading towards the stage. It was just insane. Men from just everywhere. The security guard was just like so overwhelmed. He didn't know what hit me, and I was being grabbed and it was just so traumatic. I got backstage and I cried. I cried so bad. There were no room for nerves. Like I had zero nerves that day. And now I look at it. It's online. Ammara performs Achilles at Glamis, and I was just like, Jesus, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like I was in a bad state of mind, and so it echoes. Do you get?
Yeah, I
It
get
echoes. Not to mention also somebody that I didn't want to be involved with decided to cut my performance short because I didn't want to be involved. Hey, the disrespect, Sha. The disrespect.
Chimira.
You guys, the things we go through as women are amazing. But when I'm nervous, it's a good show. It means that it matters.
Yeah.
I remember being in Malawi and like the power cut. They said, now the moment you've been waiting for. Ammara Brown. There's like 4,000 people strong out there, my guy. And choo, nuggets are gone. I'm just like, what? Did it not begin to rain? Do you know the people in Malawi waited for me for an hour? Jeez. They waited for me for an hour. And I was like, what's happening? Where's the generator? Butterfly? My nerves were
maybe someone played with the juju
the
there.
roof. We rebuke that. It was just like, quite literally, I was so nervous. And it started to rain. It even started to rain. So many fans trying to come.
You were like demoralized?
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I had no time to be. I was like, I need to Sha, have you seen me before I get on stage? I'm like, I'm about to run a track race. I'm stretching.
Yeah.
My leg is going here.
Yeah.
It's going here. It's it's all over the gaff. And so I'm in a different zone. You get what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's time to do the things. And when I got on stage, man, Shem, I left my soul on there. It was a beautiful show, and it was a beautiful memory. Now when I look back on it, I'm like, I love those. I love that crowd so much, because that energy, like, you can't take that away.
I just want to know how you prepare yourself before going on stage. How do you
meditate, drink water, stretch.
Okay.
There was a promoter, an international promoter, that asked me that they wanted me to do, like, limousine prior to the performance. This is happening in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh, can you do a limousine ride with fans? And I told my manager, make sure you charge them for appearance.
Oh.
Because I've got to get dressed up for that limo ride.
Yeah.
And my makeup's going to cost me $60 US. My clothes are going to be up to about $250 US. So that's before I've even opened my mouth. I've done nothing. I've not even left my hotel room.
Yeah.
So, like, charge them. Make sure you charge them for appearance, and they must understand, because also, aside from having to deal with all of that energy, because this is the thing, when we're on stage, we're
smiling
giving
all the way.
We're giving energy. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we're giving.
Yeah.
And people don't understand, like, it's like you have to cook slowly. You have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to let it boil. If you just leave the pot open, do you get, it's hard. Do you get what I'm saying? It's hard for, now you're dealing with Ningina Ningi. This person is just like, I loved your father so much, and they're so nice. And then this other one is just like, picture. You get, like, he's not even like hello, how are you? Like, I'm a human
just
being.
Just like, Ammara, I want to selfie with you.
And you're just like, wow, somebody else is saying, I liked your sex tape.
Which one?
I don't even have one. Imagine. Do you know, when that sex tape story came out, can I please also just add?
Yeah, tell us about that.
So you guys saw me dancing with all this energy, and then you thought I would be in bed like this.
You put energy, no?
I was just like, guys. Also, be serious, man. Be serious.
You're now throwing.
It was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous. I laughed. Do you know when I heard about that sex tape? I laughed because I knew when I was 18, I saw Kim Kardashian and Ray J, and I was like, it can never be me.
Okay.
I was like, no.
Ammara, what are you saying now?
It can never be me. Because I'm not trying to go through that. But I was criticized. Auntie front page of the whole city, you saw Ammara Brown sex tape in your way. And I was on my way to the stage.
It was a lie. It wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Oh.
It wasn't me. And they said it. They said it in the article, but they said it after they've sold the paper.
Exactly.
Yeah. After they've seen Ammara Brown sex tape. Now after it's bought, you are now reading, it's not her.
How did you react to that?
It was so funny. Initially, I laughed. I was on set. We were shooting Muzitara Baba. And my TV husband was also the director, Nick Zemura.
Okay, yes.
And, like, he was trying to be, like, really calm.
Yeah.
And in between the shoots, I remember my manager called, Tsungi at the time, was my manager, Tsungi Jopo. And she was like, she's just like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe, like, we're laughing. We are laughing because we know, like, it can't be me. It is not possible. It's never been shot, Chef. Yeah. It's never been shot. But wow. And we laughed. She says, don't worry about it. I was just like, I'm not worried. Went back to shoot. 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, we shoot another scene. We come back. Not Ja.
Yeah.
Dear, are you okay? I'm like, hi, Muku, what's up? He's just like, Isha. I said, what's wrong, Muku? He's like, have you not seen what's going on? I was like, what are you talking about? I'd even, I had actually kind of forgot. I was like, what are you talking about, Muku? He's just like, hey, they're saying that you have a sex tape. I was just like, Muku, did you even open the thing to see? It's just like, I didn't have the heart to open. I was like, no, I'm fine. I said, don't worry about it. It's not me. He was like, oh, okay. I said, don't worry.
I like the part where you say, you wouldn't, No. You put the vibe. You put the energy,
No, man, they were boring. That sex tape was so boring, Shem.
But given a chance, would you take maybe $1 million for a sex tape?
No.
You wouldn't do that?
If I wanted $1 million for a sex tape, I could get it. But I don't want it.
You don't want it?
No. No, I don't want it.
Morals?
So many things. So many things. So many morals. So many, like, I'm a mother. Oh my God. Before I was a mother, I already knew I wasn't going to do it. I was just like, not my brand. Oh no, not you making money off of me. And I must deal with that for the rest of my life. Then becoming a mother, then creating the superpower brand that I've created. I felt so horrid for Shashel. I felt so mortified. Shashel cried to me 2 weeks before that thing came out. She cried to me. We ran into each other there in Santon City. And I was just like, hey, baby. And like, happy to see her. She's a lovely girl.
Of course, yeah.
I was just like, oh, my darling. She
started crying.
You guys. She started crying in the middle of Zara there in Santon City. And I'm just like, what's going on?
What's wrong?
She's just like, I'm trying to break up with this person. He's threatening he's going to release the sex tape.
Hey. It's like one. Yeah.
And then when the story came out, he said, hey,
look at this
phone,
now.
my phone was lost. I said,
and I said, oh, so you knew this story before?
I knew the story before, and how it came out was so terrible. It was so tacky. It was so abusive. And I was so shocked to see so many people support this abuse. This woman was abused publicly. And so many people were just like, no, we're going to ride with this guy because he's ours. And I'm just like, this is the problem. This is the problem with the abusers, because we love these people, you see. And it's not to say that someone is an entirely bad person. I don't know that person from a can of peas.
Yeah.
Do you get? But that part, what you did there, that was wrong.
Yeah.
No one deserves that. Especially when she did that, she loved you. She trusted you with her life. To
that extent, yeah.
With her life. And the internet doesn't forget. So you knew exactly what you were doing, Shah. And you did it anyway. You had time. Because it's one thing if your phone was really stolen.
Yeah.
But you had time. You threatened. You prepared. And you did it.
Yeah. Yeah, that must be painful.
No.
And, Ammara, do you have unforgettable moments on stage?
Oh my goodness. So many. Spotting the Amartian at my first album launch. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
She was just the most amazing fan in the comment section already. Like she was just ride or die. But I never knew she would be one of my favorite people on earth as a human being.
Yes.
It's a lot of human experiences, I really have to say, because those are the things that ring true. Being at the O2 Arena, coming off stage, XQ had apparently called me on stage, and we were so far, like we were backstage and we didn't hear. And having the most beautiful memories on stage and coming off to see that this mess was now there because XQ had been told Ammara didn't show up. Like she just didn't. And so, but like being able to be like, hey, my brother, what happened?
Exactly.
And us just like bonding as people and just being like, no, this is what happened. We explained. And he went online to like defend me. My favorite experiences on stage are really something out of the ordinary. Like performing in Zambia for the first time, hearing them sing my music back to me
word for word.
like I'm just like, this is nuts. Entering territories that you never expected to enter and being appreciated just as who you are. Zimbabweans have done wonders for me over the years. I can't even count them on one hand. They are plentiful. Sometimes we cry together, sometimes we're jiving together. The other day I was in Kadoma, this one chick, she came and she hit the splits. I said, yes, girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, get it, show them, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I love Amartians, man. Like, you guys have given me the best, like the best memories, and I'm so blessed. I just feel so blessed to have that connection with them.
And what is the story behind, performing barefooted?
Oh, so when I was younger, in my dad's band, I remember I had to learn traditional dance. That was probably the thing that set it off. I was about 14, And I didn't really have, like, there were some songs like Mawere Kongonya I didn't readily know how to dance to. And in order for me to like properly learn, I had to take off my shoes. And it just organically happened that I would now, like, when it's time to rehearse and when it's time to perform, I'm just like, because when I'm in my bare feet, I can really move. Do you get, like, I'm in touch in a different way that I'm just like, like, give me the room because it's about to be peak.
You can
like,
feel it.
You get, and you don't get that same feeling in shoes. And at some point in time, I realized that my stage is my sacred place.
Yeah?
It's a sacred space for me.
It's a secret.
Sacred.
Oh, sacred.
It's
Oh.
a sacred space.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, let me take off my shoes. Sometimes I'm electrocuted because some of you, you don't. The stage is properly and things. But all in all, it's much more me just being barefoot, humble, honest, free, and just trying to release and share that with people.
Music has evolved. So many genres, are coming up. How do you view our music industry in Zimbabwe?
I am really proud of the musicians that we have today. I really must say, like, the odds for a long time were stacked against us. And we got the industry to a place where so many things became respectful. So many things became worthy of our time, worthy of our brands. And I'm watching the most beautiful things blossom. It is concerning in a certain regard that from the law side, we have not been properly taken care of, addressed. There are a number of things that are still happening, like, that just shouldn't be allowed. You know what I mean? And in that respect, I mean, literally, like 2 weeks ago, I discovered a flyer for an event. And I was so shocked. Like, I was just
You're part of that event. You were, on that flyer.
I was on the flyer, and I was just like, yes. How dare they? Like, how dare they? Not you charging people $100 for a seat and using my name. It was just so tasteless, man, and so tacky. And I was just
They did not get in touch with you?
They did it like a month prior to that. And then after that, we never heard anything. So we just assumed, it's not happening.
Exactly.
Next thing, I got a Google alert. A couple of weeks later, I was just like, what? I told my manager, Chido Musasiwa. I was just like, hey, Chido.
Look at this.
I don't understand what's happening here. Are these people actually, because they've now used our name in the article, can you just, they would not take my manager's calls, blah, blah, blah. But somebody in the comment section said, didn't you know? Didn't you see this flyer a long time? No, girl, I didn't see the flyer till the day of the event because I don't live here. And it's not like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on the pulse of things that that are not my portion. I'm just like, if you can't afford me, that's fine. Like, go have your event. Like, all the best. I'm happy for you guys. But don't use my brand. That's just tacky.
To get more people,
Ew.
Exactly.
Ew. I would never do that. Like, ew. Aren't you shy? Aren't you shy?
So who are you listening, who are you currently listening to right now in Zimbabwe?
Oh, in Zimbabwe? Oh, that's easy.
In Zim.
Oh, I had a long list for you just now.
Okay.
In Zim, it's very simple. I listen to my people. My people that are my people. I'm currently falling in love with a young Gemini. I just think she is like one of the dopest little firecrackers I ever seen. Yaya Good Vibes had her birthday event, like a paint and sip, and she invited me, and that's where I got to see young Gemini. I was like, oh, snap! I was like, yes, honey, yes! So I'm enjoying watching her come up. I like Anita. I'm actually pulling Anita into my performance for Jacaranda this weekend. I love Anita. I just
Anita
think
Jackson.
Oh, she's just
amazing,
so wonderful. She's just so she's a lovely person, and her music is just like la 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 la. I feel happy when I listen to it. Nati is just like international. When I told Nati, I said, my guy, you have everything it takes. We were sitting in my backyard years ago. Years ago. I'm talking like, hey, it must have even been like 2017, like somewhere around there, 18 even. And I said, Nati, you have everything it takes to be international. Right now, the Zimbabwean music sound it's not your sound. But you are going to have to find this meeting ground, and this is what Nati just took notes, man. Nati wanted his things. Do you get? Nati is about that life. He was humble, he was focused, he was on the ball, and he was not just talented. I want to be clear. There are many talented people. But the people who take talent and they turn it into a skill, they're different. the people who take a skill and they turn it into a profession.
Yeah.
That is nutty.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I'm just so proud. I'm so proud.
You know, Ammara, we left with 5 minutes.
Yo.
And
Look at you.
And I've got 10 questions.
Ah, Jesus, Lord.
So we're going to try and, I don't know, make it short. But I think, social media, Ammara, has introduced to us so many creatives. At the same time, it can be very toxic, social media. Has social media played a role in your life?
Absolutely. In both the good and the bad. I connected with my fans on social media many, many years ago. I wasn't the most, outspoken person, but I was able to tell my story if I can sit down and type it out. And I think that's what perplexed people in two parts, because I was a better performer before I was a better writer. Do you get?
Oh, yes.
So I would perform for 3 hours, but also I would story tell really well what I was going through as a person, or what I felt comfortable sharing with, sharing with people at the time. And it gave me the room to engage with my fans in a way that I would have never. There are fans that I've never met that are from Nigeria, that are from Kenya, that are from Gweru, that are from wherever. And social media gave me the room to be able to create those beautiful relationships. Somebody cried a couple of days ago. Where's he from, that one? I think he's from Zambia. He was like, I'm crying, I'm gagging. He was losing it. And I thought, gosh, I'm so lucky, because this is the beautiful part of social media, There's obviously the dark side, but...
And what is your coping mechanism, when it comes to social media, the trolls and all?
Well, for instance, I left Twitter altogether.
Oh, totally?
No, totally. I was done. 2020, there was a fan that lied about me.
Oh.
And it just turned into a whole palaver. I was like, you know what, actually, this place is not good for mental health, actually. Twitter it's a cesspool. It's a social media cesspool.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I said, a cesspool. And however, I've learned to draw back. I can go for months without posting. I'm really comfortable about it. I understand the pressures that others have, but like I said, I'm operating from a different frequency.
Yeah, of course.
So I just do it when I'm happy to do it. If I'm not happy to do it, that's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your take, on fellow public figures or fellow artists, fellow whatever, who display their private lives on social media? What's your take on that?
Look, like I said, as a musician, as an artist, what you impart with the world is greater than the actual artistry. We are very capable of inspiring and comforting people when we open up from a personal perspective. It's a very slippery slope, in the sense that somebody can come to you out of nowhere and just say you look pregnant. Yeah. Whereas someone else can come to you and be like, thank you so much for singing what you sang. I'm depressed right now. I'm feeling alone. And do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just reading what you posted about and this thing, it just made me feel this kind of way. And you can't buy that.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
I get
so it's you have to find where the balancing place is for you as an individual. I don't share a lot of my life. Like, there's so much. I was
you keep
looking
it private. You keep it private.
I was scrolling through my photo album the other day. I was like, oh my god, I have thousands of photos that will never be posted. And I'm just like, but those memories belong to me. It's not every restaurant that I go to that I'm posting about that.
Before you go, Ammara, in 2014, you were dating Roqui and had plans of getting married, just so we can we can be at peace.
Wow.
Ammara, were you even romantically involved with him?
I had been dating Roqui for 2 weeks.
Huh?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
What happened?
And then the journalist walked up to me. We were performing there at City Sports. Myself, Sulu, Tuku, Ja. Disaster. The journalist was drunk. He couldn't even open his eyes. So he was like this. Ammara, are you getting married to Roqui? And do you know, you're so confused, like,
what?
And this is the problem when you're talking to a journalist, because if you start giving them a long story, they're now just going to run with it. And I was just like, no.
No.
That's all I said. And and my manager was right there. And we both walked off like, oh
Yeah.
my God, how drunk was he? That was Friday. Monday morning. Roqui and Ammara, wedding bells. Yo, where? Do you know we landed up at the lawyers? With H Metro. We landed up at the lawyers. Because I was like, can you prove to me? Why did you fabricate my statements?
Hey.
And they do this, hey? These journalists, they really do this. I've read things that I'm just like, when did I say that? Wow, I want somebody to prove that I said that. But yeah, that's what happened with that. Roqui was quite comfortable. He wasn't freaking out. He was swearing me blue and black because he was tired coming from studio or whatever. He had slept 3 hours. Hey, what are you freaking out about? I mean, he was unbothered because obviously for him, it was neither here nor there. Yeah, love you. You know, and I'm just like, no, man, this is nuts. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
My grandmother was still alive. I was just like, are you, what? Very humiliating situation there. But no, we were never getting married, never engaged. I think he gave me a proposal at some point on the phone. On the phone. Yeah, he was just like, I just love you so much.
Roqui, you got the guts,
Yo,
my guy.
man. I was just like, you got jokes, man.
You got jokes.
No, he was joking.
You know what,
Really.
guys? Ammara will be performing at the Jacaranda, Stanbic Jacaranda Music Festival. The closing show, right?
Yeah, on
Sunday. Sunday.
Judith Sapuma, Sun L. It's gonna be
So
such a
we'll
good
come and
night.
support you. We'll be there. We'll be
Wonderful.
right. Yeah, I'm definitely coming. To support you.
I'll be looking to spot you.
Definitely.
I might sing to you. I
I'm at
just
the
might.
backstage. I'll be at the big stage. So, Ammara, how can people get in touch with you? I'm gonna leave this, chair to the Tilda.
Okay. Yeah, because we've stolen
Yeah,
the
almost-
spots. At Ammara Brown on Instagram. That is the number one place to get me right
Yeah.
now. My Facebook page was hacked, so don't go
Oh,
there.
they hacked the page again.
My page. First and last time.
Mine was hacked again as well, like last year.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
It's been like 2 months.
Oh.
But anyway, at Ammara Brown, Ammara, for those of you who don't know how to spell Ammara.
Yeah.
And and just catch me on Instagram, man. I'm in a good space and I'm sending out good vibrations all the time. So
Thank
come
you.
join me.
Thank you so much, Ammara Brown. What a good, she's such a vibe, man. She's such a vibe. Ammara Brown. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. From 6:30 until now. I'm Ola7. You can follow me on Instagram at DJ Ola7, Facebook page DJ Ola7 Star FM, of course, my YouTube channel at DJ Ola7. Don't forget to follow us on the big one at Star FM Zimbabwe on all social media platforms. So thank you so much, guys. Tomorrow I'm hosting Titan on the spot. Titan will be telling us everything. A lot has been happening. But tomorrow, Titan will be unpacking almost everything exclusively to Ola7. Okay? So, to the two down, guys. Okay, fine. It's okay.